We're excited to have the opportunity to talk a little bit more with a few of our UC suppliers. And so let's invite the panelists up on stage. Guys, take any seats you like, and then we'll introduce each one of you as you have your chance to say hello. So, Roy, take the chair of your choice. Thanks for being here, guys. Thanks, Zane. Are we missing somebody? If I can, I'm not. No, that. Oh, hello. Is Shawn in the house? What's that? He didn't look at his app. He's taking a nap. He's doing something else that rhymes with app. I don't know. Taking a lap. Don't say what you were just thinking. Okay, well, we're going to go with the 5. Hey, that's more airtime. You guys unhappy about that? Great. Roy, let's start with you. Quick introduction, your name, your title, and the company you work for. The cheat sheet was up on the screen. Maybe we'll leave that up so everybody knows who the panelists are. But Roy, let's start with you.
Roy Jackson, VP of Channel Development at Jive Communications.
Zane Long, VP Global Channel Sales, RingCentral.
Chris Peters, Global Channel Chief, 8x8.
Robert Brown, I'm President of YipTel.
Rob McCarthy, VP of Channel Sales at MegaPath.
Fantastic, gents. Again, thanks for being here. How many of you, this is your first time at the Telarus Partner Summit? First time. Zane's been here before. Everybody else has been here before. Your 4th time? Oh, wow. Well, let's not have a contest to see who's been here the longest. But you've been here longer than I have. One of the things, we'll start with the veteran. We'll start with Zane then. Here's my question, and for all of you. The CEO panel talked a bunch this morning about, communication platform as a service, how important that is, how I think the idea that our unified communication system needs to plug into the other things that the customer is doing. And integrations are critical and those sorts of things. Would each of you talk just for a second about communication platform as a service, the integrations that you guys are doing, and kind of how we move beyond just voice and some of those other simple technologies, but into a real customer solution?
Yeah, I'm going to just change it just a little bit to collaboration.
Okay.
Because we believe that collaboration is the key to the future. And so when you look at what we're doing at RingCentral, we have a product we call GLIP, which is a collaborative tool. And this gives our customers an opportunity to use collaboration as a tool. So when we're talking to enterprise customers and we bring forward the offers that RingCentral has, this often becomes one of the primary reasons that these enterprise customers are looking at RingCentral. So of all the many things that RingCentral does extremely well, this particular product we call GLIP, this collaborative tool is something that they're looking for but is integrated into our software. And so as we continue to look at ISVs for APIs, API integration across our platform, we continue to realize what was talked about earlier today with Alan Mazurek and Don in regards to what customers are looking for. So we have an open platform with API. We invite our ISVs to utilize the API to create opportunities that our customers are asking for. And we believe that really is one of the key components, one of the reasons that these customers are looking at RingCentral and favoring us in that way.
Fantastic. Rob, you've got the microphone. Same question. Integrations, that CPaaS concept, what's the take at MegaPath on that?
Yeah, so we just got into the integration space, put a lot of focus on different tools. I could say a big trend most recently is the amount of deals in the hosted space. Obviously we're a BroadSoft provider, but the amount of integration tools that are out there today, it actually surprise you, and that's a real sticky point in when we're going after the hosted business. I think something else interesting where we're going is the ability to add in something like SMS texting into a BroadSoft platform. So that's something that you're going to see coming out later in the year from MegaPath. And we're trying to expand into that other space because we've identified, the power users of today are the high school kids.
Yeah.
All right. They don't call anybody anymore. They're sending a text. They're using Snapchat, Instagram, whatever. They need to be able to get a hold of their dad, say, it's me, I'm sitting at work, I'm on my soft phone. How cool would that be just to get a text on there so my soft phone's not just limited to my enterprise, right? I can really integrate that into more of a family environment and take it to the next level. So it is in that collaboration space, but really SMS texting is going to be a vital part of all soft phones and going forward. At least that's our view. So.
Roy, we've talked a lot too about Jive being more of a platform company, a software company. Same question. What do you have to tell the partners today about those integrations that are critical, the platform that's unique to Jive, and how you're really enhancing that customer experience?
How many of you believe right now that voice over IP is really commoditized as a service? Okay. This exact topic is the reason that even though this is the differentiator. Those that are still buying and selling on a value basis, right, that they're actually providing a solution, are looking at the integration components of the products that you actually have. Jive has spent the last several years rebuilding its platform to make it internally speak via APIs, which has allowed us to expose basically every part of our platform into some very unique solutions for customers. So whether you're talking Salesforce or Zoho or Zendesk or the list goes on, Curve Dental, Cisco Spark, a lot of others that we've integrated with. We haven't just gone to the point of a basic screen pop and adding notes, but we've gone and done some very, very unique things that others in the industry haven't done. So as you start looking at how to uncommoditize your business, because none of us like to sell in that commodity world, this is something you really need to become familiar with are the integrations that we as providers are actually doing, because that's what's actually going to drive your solution-based sale. It's a differentiator. If not, you're just selling a fancy 1FB, right?
Right. And, Chris, you going to grab that next?
I'd like to.
Yeah, go ahead. Please.
Because I think there's really 4 points of integration that are interesting. The first of which would be certainly integration with the business process systems that are inherent to your customers, and more than just the the screen pop, but integrating in analytics. So for instance, we take our analytics, combine them with Einstein from Salesforce to have a real in-depth knowledge of your customer, of your enterprise, your entire enterprise across the globe. So I think that's the first area. The second area is truly on the collaboration. So what we offer through our Same Room acquisition is an acknowledgement that an enterprise isn't going to necessarily adopt a single chat platform. And we're not going to force them to adopt a single chat platform. So the engineers can continue to use HipChat. Salespeople can use Chatter. Others can use our embedded chat solution, and they can all interconnect through our Same Room solution. So that's the second point of integration, I would say. The third point, of course, is the ability of partners to integrate within our system to add value beyond that which is just selling a VoIP solution. So the ability to manage the deployment process, manage the customer support process, and have integration into our back-end systems that allow them to effectively manage their customer base. And of course, the fourth one would be a fully integrated contact center solution with your hosted PBX platform that enables you to see from a contact center agent perspective or a non-content center agent perspective across the entire platform, whether it's presence, whether it's transferring calls, et cetera, et cetera. So for us, integrations are extremely important. There's multiple facets of them.
Sounds like that's one of those key things that you talk about during the sales process as well, are those 4 factors.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, you get the last word on this question, Robert.
I'll take it. So at YipTel, we're a little bit smaller provider, but we're very custom, and we integrate our platforms very uniquely for our customers. An example of that helped us win a local school here, a university called Brigham Young, BYU. We recently won that call center application for them because we were able to integrate and tie into their platforms by writing applications that integrated with their software. As an example, when their customer care agents received it, sure, we did the screen pops and those types of things, but we automatically dipped the database. We've pulled the client ID, the student ID. We pulled that information. If we didn't know it, then we had them input it. And then one of the big things that we did for them was we tied all their recordings so that directly in their CRM, they can now see every conversation that they've ever had with that student and tie back to exactly what commitments they had made and all of those different parts and pieces. And that's what helped us win that deal. So by allowing us to be able to do those types of things, that integration really is, that's what wins deals today. And if you can get to that point through the questions and the discussions with your clients, that's what we try to instruct and teach our partners, is how to get into that level, because then we can leave all the other things aside, because we were the last one standing with what we delivered. But you have to go through the sales process to get to that point. So,
In that BYU integration, was that a custom CRM that they had, or did they have a Salesforce or something like that? Did they have their own CRM system?
They had written their own, and so our engineers worked with theirs to work with our APIs to integrate the product and the software to deliver what they were looking for.
You know, I just graduated from BYU, actually completed my coursework a week ago, 5 days ago. I always wondered how they knew so much about me. It's actually kind of creepy now that I think about it. Roy, do you think you could get him to turn down the
is that the Jive
race car just a little bit? Just kidding. So we heard from kind of a high level from all of you about how critical integrations were. Then we got a great practical example of integrating into a custom written CRM, screen pops, history, all of those great pieces. If you have a kind of standout story, could you tell us about that specific integration? And again, you know, when the CEOs were up here, we'll all remember the soggy fries story, right? So I'm trying to help us create one of those that's a little bit sticky for the audience so they also remember, oh yeah, that was the Vonage story. Now I know about the BYU integration or a custom CRM integration. That's great from YipTel. Not calling on you in any particular order as they come to you. If you've got a mic, feel free to grab it. But a custom integration or story that kind of stands out, one that really solved a specific need?
Actually, I'm going to tell one quick story and then talk about, I want to talk about this kind of speed to decision making. You know, I've done quite a few interviews with analysts in different magazines recently, and something that we've noticed in the past 16 months, maybe 18 months, is something I've kind of called the bubble up effect. And this is where customers of yours, of partners, as trusted advisors, customers are making demands on their partners like never before with this particular product. So in my career of almost 20 years and several different products, we're seeing UCaaS be that particular product that's being driven by the customer to the partner and then the partner to us. And that demand is something I think that we've just seen the beginning of. And with that, even large enterprise-based customers are moving rapidly because of the value proposition and some of the things we've talked about here up on the stage. One in particular was a customer, enterprise customer, about 2,200 users, from beginning of a conversation with the customer to full signature, about a $2.2 million total contract value in 43 days. I've not seen that kind of speed of decision making in a very long time. And then real quick, to I think was standout for me, brought to one of our, a opportunity brought to us by one of our partners, was Santa Clara School District. So this was 12 different schools across the Santa Clara County. And there were 2,300 users that needed to be implemented and provisioned before the school year started. We started the process with this particular school district in about the middle of May, and we had to have it finished by August 15th. And I think what's also fascinating about this particular product is that you can execute rapidly, expertly, and feed the desires of the customers in a very short period of time. So 2,300 users were implemented. Everyone was able to use the services that we provided so that they could kick off the school year, and everyone had phone service. So for me, it's a little bit about the speed of decision making and the abundance.
You know, that's a fantastic story because the happy school district means that the partner gets paid pretty quickly too, right?
That's right.
I mean, the truth of the matter is, instead of being a 6, 8, 12-month integration, implementation was the word I was going to say. Now it happened in a condensed period of time, which means, our friends here get paid more quickly too, which is fantastic.
That's right.
Roy, you had a thought, and then we're gonna have a quick introduction right after that. So,
thank you.
Yeah, a recent one that actually just last couple of months, we closed down here in the valley. We have a big dealership, and the owner of the Utah Jazz is Larry H. Miller. Owns a lot of businesses around town. And so we just got all the Larry H. Miller dealerships and a number of other businesses owned by Larry H. Miller, about 1,200 seats. And the key to that was really at all their dealerships, and at most dealerships across the U.S., there's a technology or a back-end platform called Dealer Socket. And so we had to go through and do a very unique integration to Dealer Socket. Although we had done Dealer Socket before, they required 3 or 4 things that nobody else had actually done with the platform, which I'm not going to repeat for all my competitors here. But we were able to do that in a very short time frame. It actually took us about 2 weeks to do a very unique integration and provide something that nobody else could do in the industry. And that ended up helping one of our partners win 1,200 handsets at Larry H. Miller.
Fantastic. Say hello.
Hello.
And if you don't mind, your name and your title, please.
Yeah, my name is Shawn Day. I'm the VP of Channel Sales in the Northeast for TPx Communications.
Terrific. So we were just talking about integrations and CPaaS and any great specific stories that would be memorable, like the soggy fry story we heard this morning. We put you a little bit on the spot there, but
yeah, no problem.
If you've got one, we'd love to hear it.
The soggy, I'm sorry, I missed that one. I was probably taking a nap at that time too. But no, so in the Northeast, we have a great customer. They're a small payroll firm, roughly about 350 employees. They decided to put a 50-person call center in Jamaica and do it 100% over the top. They had quite a few SOHO users as well, so out of the 350, there was probably roughly about 50 that worked out of their homes. And so we basically delivered a solution, a call center solution to Jamaica for them. TPx is a managed services carrier, so over the last 2 years, we've been integrating our SD-WAN product into our platform. And so we delivered our SD-WAN product with that to make sure that we got 100% SLA out of Jamaica for them for their call center. So that was pretty cool. Took roughly a good 4 weeks for us to deploy that. Got around some of the import-export stuff because this customer threw it in their suitcases, but it worked out great.
Yeah, we don't want to hear about how they hauled the gear into the country.
I have no idea how they did it.
Yeah, that's interesting. But who wouldn't want to work in a call center in Jamaica? I mean, that sounds like a pretty good
And it was in the tax-free
zone.
zone as well, believe it or not. I think their over-the-top was cable and wireless still.
Right,
I remember
I can imagine the interview. They say, ask a question, you're like, hey, man, just call anytime, you know.
Hey, man.
Real mellow agents, real customer-friendly.
Relax.
How about integration from 8x8 that stands
So
out?
a CPaaS is more than just integration, though, right?
Absolutely.
So for instance, GameStop's one of our customers, and we've deployed many of their stores in the U.S. and expanding globally as well. Our Script 8 technology, interfacing to our CPaaS platform, allows them to, for instance, if there's a new game that comes out that's specific for, they're going to have a specific special for their Florida stores, they're able to modify the IVR recordings in bulk for only Florida stores. So things like that allow you to provide a more enterprise-level interface to the communication platform is very valuable to the customers.
Absolutely. And I have a 17-year-old son, but I've been spending a lot of money at GameStop the last decade. So, yeah, I know all about that.
But we, as far as integration is concerned, we've got a travel customer that is trying to get off of Genesis, but had just signed up to their workforce management software and really don't want to switch workforce management. So just through our contact center API, we're able to interface to their workforce management solution. So.
Well, these are fantastic, case studies in what can be done. And I think it wasn't too many years ago when it was just supposed to ring, and then it was pretty hot when it was Find Me, Follow Me, and then it was really cool when my mobile device kind of had an app on it that could kind of do some stuff. But now what we're really talking about is transforming people's businesses. I mean, being able to market specifically to a local market for a particular game. I know that my son gets on their mailing list, and they send us a message, both email and a voice message, when the game he's pre-ordered is now available. So,
They do that manually now, but they can automate that whole process
which is amazing. And I'm a little, again, creeped out about how much BYU knows about me. Those from the local market know a lot about the Larry Miller store. So these are great integrations. As I'm thinking maybe as being a partner out there, though, I just had my stomach tighten just a little bit. Number one, I got excited about the opportunity to sell into some of these amazing opportunities. But two, I don't know if I'm good enough. I've been slinging bandwidth for 20 years. I am just getting my feet wet in UCaaS. I learned how to spell SD-WAN 3 weeks ago, which is pretty cool. These are complex opportunities. What sort of professional services, engineering support, deal qualification, some of those sales enablement tools do you provide as the supplier that helps me when I kind of, you ever have a little grandson or a little son, 6, 7 years old, now he's got his first big fish on the line, and the first thing he thinks is maybe throw the pole, second thought is hand it to you. If we get one of these kind of hooked, how are you going to help me land it? Because I don't think that I can do the custom integration most of the time, or some of the other things that we've talked about, guys, without some help. So.
Well, it starts with sales enablement, right? First of all, and we have a 3-tiered structure by which we're enabling our channel partners depending on what level of engagement they choose to have with us. That's to educate them on how to identify the opportunities, qualify the opportunities, find those nuggets of value where they can sell more than just a $20 extension or something like that, right? But beyond that, certainly we have a whole professional service team globally that provides support for customers to do those integrations, or they can do those integrations themselves. Or we can enable our channel partner community to do that as well. Oftentimes, you have the expertise at doing some of this work themselves, and we can enable them to do that as well.
There's no question that some do. I was thinking of the some that maybe are a little bit reticent, but that's great. Any other thoughts about that? Go ahead, Shawn.
Yeah, let me just chime in real quick. If everybody hasn't noticed, that 1970-style Airstream outside is pretty damn cool. That is a resource that we give to our partners to help them close business. When we deliver that product and we come to a customer site or even to an agent's location with that product, and we allow them to do the demo in there, we have our sales engineers involved. As the sale progresses and the complexities come in, we do have development on the backside if they want to do any type of CRA integration. We are a BroadSoft shop, so we do have a product that's an add-on that supports up to 255 CRMs right out of the box, the Salesforce.com and all the others, etc. So that's pretty slick as well. But we do have the developers that will help on any of the other integration within an organization's frame of how they run their business. So.
Terrific.
I'll take it for a second. So one of the things we do is we work with fewer partners, but we work very closely with those partners. And so as we establish our partners, we bring them in. We actually provide a significant portion of the demos, and we're very involved in the design, the engineering, the implementation. I think of one recently that we closed. The partner themselves they were newer to the industry, and they didn't really know how to solve some of the different issues and pieces, and so that normally the partner would be involved with. But our team just takes lead on that and says, well, let us help you with those different parts, because we've done this for a long time when that partners are our focus, and we focus very closely and solely. We're a 100% channel company, so we work very closely with them to make sure that they have all the resources they need. So,
fantastic. Roy, and then.
Yeah, so Doug, I think the first thing we did maybe the most important thing is we put all the VX Suite beacons in our data centers so you could start the process right and test, right? So just thought I'd buy some points. But that's actually an important thing, though, to pre-qualify network, especially when you get into these larger customers. But outside of that, typical sales engineering resources, something that we've done that's unique is we actually have vertical specialists that spend all day in their vertical. You guys have 140 vendors or whatever to actually look at, try to track, try to understand the differences in between our integrations and everything else. You need our sales engineering teams and those things because we can't keep up with our own products, let alone expect you to keep up with all of us, right, at the same time. With that, we brought in a bunch of vertical specialists that everything from dealer socket, for instance, we have a person that focuses on dealer socket, and the way with the Larry H. Miller example, when that partner called up with that opportunity, we went directly to this person. This person helped write up the RFPs with them, helped to do the entire deal hand in hand, and made sure we were able to actually close it because there's a very in-depth level of knowledge that has to happen to get to that point, even beyond a sales engineering standpoint. Same thing with all of when you look at our K-12 business, as we own a huge chunk of K-12 across the U.S. and E-rate business, we have vertical specialists that go in and hold your hand through the entire sales process. Okay, not just here's a sales engineering diagram or here's a channel manager, we'll try to keep you up to date on the back end, but actually go into the appointments with you and manage the deal with you end to end. When you get into these verticals, into these specialty sales, that level of knowledge is required, or you just can't compete.
So we deploy something we call channel harmony. And what that means is that we provide subject matter experts from 1 to infinity. So if it's SMB, mid, major, or enterprise, we will deploy one of our direct reps, subject matter experts, to assist and or to close on behalf of the partner. You know, one of the things we like to talk about is, you know, obviously partners sell a lot of different products and services, and we can allow the partner to do what they do best while we do what we do best, and we both win. Now, of course, the partner is always in control of that. They can utilize the subject matter expert any way they wish. They can bring them into a conference call. They can be side by side with the subject matter expert, or as I said before, they can allow the RingCentral subject matter expert to go sell on behalf of the partner. And this has worked really, really well for us. You know, it's interesting. Oftentimes people will ask, you know, what is the first question that a partner asks? And you think it might be, how much are you going to pay? But it never is. It's about channel harmony. It's about how do you engage, how do you control conflict, what do you do internally when it comes to competition? Because competition from direct sales reps is something that obviously partners don't want to have. And at RingCentral, they don't have that. Because our subject matter experts, our direct salespeople, we have now 160 sales people globally, their function is to react to leads that are generated from our partners. And this is the purest channel harmony type program I've ever been a part of, and I think it's been resonating with our partners in a very significant way.
That's terrific. Rob?
Yeah, let's talk about what we've done at MegaPath just in the past 2 years, or a little less than that. I kind of came over and brought in what I call a swim lane approach to working with partners and relationships. So what we basically did was align sales engineering along with our channel managers, and became very, very focused on learning those relationships and creating a consistent experience for the partner. And that extends out through the customer experience with project management and then eventually support once we're up and running. But we've been deploying this now for, like I said, over a year and a half, and the results are tremendous. We're doing things, one-offs with partners that are more educational rather than we show up and do a PowerPoint and pitch to you why you should sell MegaPath. You know, it's more about educating on SD-WAN. Earlier in the year, for example, we did something called Mega Month with Telarus, and got together with Bryce, and we came in and spent a day and did some intense training on not only UCaaS, but our approach to SD-WAN and the fact that we're not sticking with just one flavor. We have a couple different ways to address those customer needs, but really we're putting forward the concept that, hey, we're kind of a la carte with this stuff, and as a partner, you need to guide us and take us down the path you'd like to see this thing go. So really the partner's the quarterback, and then we're more the offensive line. We're kind of knocking the hurdles out of the way, making sure that you can make the play. So, you know, I don't think it's a unique approach. I think it's maybe something from the late 90s, but it's refreshing to see that in the partner space, that old school relationship stuff really does work, and that's where we're coming from.
Hey, a bunch of us are from the late 90s. Chris, did you have a chance to answer that question?
I did, but just to add on to it. So certainly
It looked like you had something to say.
I generally have something to say, yes. We have a fully integrated sales organization. We bring to bear, whether a lead comes from a channel partner or a lead comes direct from our marketing efforts, those can go to channel partners. All of our team is enabled to sell through our channel partners. We certainly have sales engineers assigned to every opportunity, and we'll bring them in for demonstrations, and then solution consultants as well, especially on the contact center side of things, bringing the solution consultants. The sales engineers, even the account executives are all right selling contact centers to a certain degree. But when you get to that person who actually runs that contact center, bring a solutions consultant in that can get into the depths of things, understand their business flows, understand how they interact with their customers, and then design a solution that's optimum for their situation. So,
You know, that brought up another thought as you were all talking about that. So great resources kind of pre-sale, but then a little bit of buyer's remorse sets in. Things don't go exactly the way we planned. By the way, these things are hard to do. If they were easy, I've said this in a lot of seminars before, Amazon would just drop ship it and somebody's brother-in-law would install it, and none of us would be necessary at some level. So what are some of the things you do post-sale? And the most expensive technology in any organization is the unused technology. So how do you help with user adoption? So post-sale support and ensuring good user adoption. Love to explore that for a few minutes. Whoever wants to go, in any order.
I've got the mic.
Okay.
So first of all, we have a global deployment team that is located in many parts of the world. We'll go on site, deploy our customers in whatever country they are, sans Dubai.
Why not Dubai?
The UAE, you get your arm cut off if you do
I just
voice over
got back
IP.
from there. It's delightful. I would
Yeah,
go.
but don't deploy VoIP.
Well, I've never deployed VoIP there. You're right.
Don't do that. But it's not enough to have a deployment team. It's the experience. Because I can guarantee you, every deployment in China has come up with unique situations.
Yeah.
It always is. Certainly we know how to deploy the gateways, how to get the local connectivity in place, get their phone numbers. But up until, I think, November of last year, some people were using Chinese local phone numbers, Beijing phone numbers, that for voice over IP, and the Chinese government just said, no, not anymore. And all of a sudden, they weren't making any phone calls or receiving phone calls, right? So you got to have the experience. Try to get phones shipped into Moscow, Russia. Every time it's an experience. And our deployment team is deployed in these countries over and over and over again. Now, the precursor is a fully defined deployment strategy that starts with an in-depth network test, obviously, complementing the VX suite. And then a deployment methodology that extracts all the information necessary and the swim lanes between the customer and the partner, and 8x8 to get that solution deployed. Add on that a customer success organization that's dedicated to ensuring those enterprise customers have the access to the resources they need to be successful, including a very rich training regimen that manages that change management process that I think really gets lost in the shuffle a lot of times. That secretary now has a phone that's 1,000 times more powerful with 1,000 times more features on it than they had before, but it's still missing the red button that they've been using for the last 10 years, so it's got to suck.
Yeah.
Right? You've got to manage that change process.
Yeah, change is hard, that's for sure. User adoption, how do you help ensure that? That's critical. Robert, did you want to go next?
Yeah, I had a couple of partners that have come up to me today and really thanked us for the way that we handle that process. We assign a project manager, whether they're 3 phones or 30 phones or 3,000 phones, because the experience to you and your clients and the reference that we expect them to be able to provide for us and for you is that ability, and that's why we assign a dedicated person for every single project that we deliver. We have what we call our 5-star service guarantee, where we touch base consistently. To us, it's about communicating with the partner and with the agent, making sure that everybody, we tell our teams, if the customer has to ask us for information, we've already failed. So we push out a lot of information. We communicate regularly. We make sure that those jobs go on schedule, on time, and we deliver the majority of those. I guess you may call us a little old school. We came from the interconnect side of the business versus a carrier side. So we've delivered business phone systems for 47 years and installed tens of thousands of different implementations. And what we've learned from that is that the customer wants to be involved. They want on-site training. They want all of those applications. And while, yes, we can ship and provide that, the majority of our clients love that white glove experience that we deliver from end to end. Because for you as a partner, what you need is you need that long-term residual, and you need them coming back. You need them providing references. And the best way that we can help you with that is to make sure that that implementation goes right. And I even had a partner, I don't know if Ruben's in here, but we actually screwed up on one of his and had an issue or a problem on his, and he said, I just want to thank you so much, because different than some of the other experiences we've had when there was an issue, you guys did whatever it takes to solve that issue. And I think that that's really the core of why our partners choose YipTel. So.
Thanks, Robert. Zane, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. So we have a internal team, professional services for full implementation and provisioning But there's also something that we offer to the partner community, and that's to participate. So any partner has the opportunity to do their own implementation and provisioning. So we provide training and services to educate you on how you can go out and do that yourself. So if you're interested in doing that, we'll be happy to talk to you. We're also looking always out for partners that can deploy and do implementation and provisioning for customers that are not yours. So as we are growing globally, we're always looking for those types of partners as well. And this is something that we have heard over and over again that partners do like to, not every partner, but there are a lot of partners that like to participate in that implementation and provisioning process, and we want to give them that opportunity. And then, kind of on the user side on what we do after the fact. So it's also important to know, and I want to kind of correct one thing too on the channel harmony, 100% to the partner compensation, 100% to the subject matter expert, and 100% to the channel partner. There's never, ever any chance for anyone in the channel harmony program of RingCentral to make less than. We're all committed to the same endeavor. But we also have a dedicated team of individuals that follow those customers on behalf of the partner for the life of the customer. Yeah, so any upgrade, any upsell, any contract renewal, all of those services are taken care of internally. Once again, partners involved. They can let us do that, assist and do it, but we will do it also proactively. And of course, that means that the partner is receiving those commissions for the life of the customer as we continue to renew and add services, because that can happen very rapidly. Even after deployment, customers may come up, look, we need another 50 users, 75 users, and we have an entire team of individuals that their only function is dedicated to customers that partners bring to the table.
Wow, that's terrific. Rob, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll dive in there. I think, we all have some sort of blend up here of making sure the partner's taken care of. And something I think we've done very, very well at MegaPath is recognizing that this entire crowd here, y'all have different skill sets. I could talk to somebody that has a full call flow recognition of the last deal we did and the auto attendant and exactly how that call flow went through the system. And they could fill out all the documentation themselves. And then we're dealing with sometimes brand new folks that maybe come from some other industry and they have no clue what they just sold. So we take that into account, and then we approach it very carefully and bring those resources in as you need them. And then I just wanted to touch on our, after we're deployed and you get your first check on that deal, we have a dedicated CAS group that stays, again, in that swim lane and stays dedicated to your specific deals you've sold. So you can go out there and say, hey, this is going to be your MegaPath experience. I trust them. They're a direct reflection of me. This is a good choice. So we're all about that relationship piece and making sure we do the things to make you look good. So that's what we focus on.
Fantastic.
Alrighty, so from a service delivery standpoint, we do have a dedicated team, very similar to a project management team, that is involved with the the post-sale delivery of our product. Once the customer has ported over and we've got them in a great place, we at that point start reinforcing them and educating them as best we possibly can through our TPx webinar series. We do it on a quarterly basis, and we blast that out to our customers, and that's across the board for them to learn more about our product as it morphs over time. It educates them on new add-ons that might take place as well. And on the partner side, we have the same series, and we kind of channel it more to the partners so they can educate themselves and their organization on how to sell the product and learn more about how we kind of decide to really look at how we're going to deliver to the customer. So,
thank you. Roy.
Yeah, over the years, we've kind of looked at this industry as it's gone through that bleeding edge phase, and it's called bleeding edge because it hurts when you go through it, right? Everybody's growing so fast, they don't have their operations, and it's been a competition of who sucks less oftentimes, I think, all too often. And so we kind of go by the mentality of kind of crap in, crap out. So we've really focused not only on the project managers and all that on the back end, but we've really simplified as much as we can on the front end. So, for instance, all-inclusive pricing. that you don't have to worry about when I turn on features, is it going to change my quote, is it going to change everything else, which really makes it very nice for a partner and a customer to not wonder and have trepidation about what they're actually going to adopt within the product. It's all in there, right? Things like pre-provisioned switches, routers, and phones before they go out, so when they plug them in, they're pretty much plug and play instead of having to go through and do a bunch of changes and provisioning and all those other things to that. It goes to networking. Like, for instance, we put in NNIs directly to Comcast, Time Warner, Level 3, Verizon, and a bunch of other carriers to all of our data centers so that a Comcast customer, for instance, doesn't have to go out and get an MPLS circuit, redo their entire network to get good voice quality on Jive. If you have Comcast, you're going directly through an NNI, directly onto our network without touching the open internet, giving you low latency and all the other things. All these things add up to again, a very simple process on the front end, giving you a clean product on the back end. Because no matter how hard you try, if it's a complex process, complex product, you're going to screw up. You've got to simplify and make it as easy as possible. And that's where our efforts have been.
Yeah, that's true. The more we can make it simple, the better. So I'm a brand new employee at a deployment that already exists on your platform. Real briefly, where do I go first as a brand new person? I just started working at Company X and they have a system that you've deployed. Where do I go first to figure out how to use it? Is it a web-based training? Is it a YouTube channel? Is it something embedded into my web interface? Where do I go first, briefly, to just get some training on your product? Where do I go first?
Yeah, you nailed every one of them. I think pretty much everybody here has trainings that we post on our own YouTube pages. That's one avenue. We do provide quite a few things on our website as well under our resource section. And we have a dash portal system as well that the administrators can go into and find stuff as well. And that portal is just fantastic for any sort of overview of the company as well as their network and how it's set up.
Terrific.
In addition to all those, we also have an implementation call that we do with the customer that's actual training on the portal. So we actually set up their users with them so that they understand how to set up a user, change a voicemail box, and all those things within the system, change the dial plan, the IVRs. By the time they get done with that call, at least the administrative users have a very good play, and then the general users can use the normal online web stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, same here. Dedicated services, customers looking for information after the fact, because obviously in implementation and provisioning, a lot of the training takes place there. But after the fact, there's always questions. We've got an entire dedicated team of people in both Denver, Charlotte, and San Mateo who stand ready to answer those questions for those customers at any time.
This is a little bit more of a challenge the more global you are, but how do you handle that?
Right. We provide our customers end user adaptation kits. That's basically a catalog of a combination of resources, videos, web information, et cetera, that they can provide to any of their employees at any time, anywhere in the world, to learn the nuances of using the system effectively.
Fantastic. Robert?
We have that. It's funny though today, we have all of us have a variety of tools. But the one comment I got today was about a client. One of the partners came up and said, I love your resources and tools, but the thing that I love the most is my customers was able to call you, get somebody on the phone, and they took 10 to 15 minutes to walk them through pieces because this person didn't like any of those types of tools.
Right.
That's the level of service that YipTel delivers.
Fantastic.
Ditto.
Okay.
No, we've got the web-based trainings. We typically defer to that. But what we do try to do with the partner, is to identify one or two subject matter experts, folks that are at the customer that desire to be that training resource. So we work with you to try to get them to commit to that. If not, the fallback is to have the channel manager engaged, and we do have a training team that then will deploy, occasionally even fly them out, and it depends on the size, of course, but we'll go to that depth of making sure they know how to use this stuff the right way.
I was thinking if I was one of our partners and I landed a 500-seat deal, the last thing I want to do is be taking calls on how to program X or fix button Y, and I know you guys all have that covered, but just to allay that fear as well, that, okay, so now you've told me you can help me on the pre-sales. You've got engineers. You've got dedicated salespeople that can ask all the right questions so we don't have any weird gotchas as we get into this. I was talking to Bill Mansfield at lunch. He got into one where they didn't realize until they got deep into this project that they wanted 17 phones to ring simultaneously, and the piece of hardware they installed didn't allow for 17 phones to ring simultaneously, so now the customer's all ticked off. So asking the right questions up front, and then helping all the way through that provisioning, post-sale, customer care, customer satisfaction, that's all fantastic. Sounds like relatively easy then for us to say, introduce our friends as partners to your staff, your resources, and then together we're going to close the deal. So my last question, it looks like we have 4 minutes left. You guys can see the timer as well. What are your most successful agents doing that I, sitting here in the audience, can take home with me and say, okay, you know what, I can go do that. I can do that, whatever that is. It looks like we've got about 4 minutes to answer this question.
The most successful agents will run through our enablement program to understand the value propositions of our service and get our sales engineers, get our solutions consultants, get our account executives, get our security head involved in the sale, bring us in so that we can help you close the deals.
Okay.
Yeah,
Rob?
real quick, the very successful agents with us, they know our sweet spots. They know specifically where we can play. You know, MegaPath over the years has gone through some changes. And if you're not familiar with where we're at right now and you know, really pushing away the CLEC moniker and becoming a managed services provider, you know, we did that during the divestiture. Again, a little ahead of the curve, but that is the difference right now, is being that managed services educator.
Terrific. Zane?
Yeah, just a quick thought. You know, it's a land grab out there right now. There's a tremendous amount of opportunity. There's abundance. And one thing that we've also learned about when customers make a cloud buying decision, once they've exhausted the savings that one can save moving from premise-based into the cloud, they've enjoyed the services and the benefits that UCaaS can provide them, those customers are off the market for 5 to 6 years unless something tragic occurs. Like, you know, someone doesn't provide them good service. And that means that you've got to be first there. So the partners that have done the best with RingCentral is utilizing our collaboration of subject matter experts to think about your customer bases to whom you want to expose the UCaaS service to and RingCentral to. And I do want to kind of do a call out real quick because it's something that I'm very grateful about, is having a relationship with Telarus all these years. Adam and Patrick recently had their anniversary in Huntington Beach, and 15 years ago, I met with Adam and Patrick, two folding chairs and a folding table, two software guys asking to get into this business, and it was at that time I was kind of like, yeah, okay, you know, we'll give them a try, and so exciting for someone like myself to look and watch what the growth that Adam and Patrick and his team has put together all these years has been inspirational.
Thanks. Roy, do you want to take it next?
The most successful partners right now that we're seeing are doing two things. Number one, they're registering their deals, and they're not trying to keep those deals secret because they know we'll keep them safe, and that registering them actually protects them. But that also allows us to actually help get involved early in the deals. The earlier we're in the deal, the earlier we have a sales engineer in the deal, the earlier we can help do testing on the network, the earlier we can do all of those things, the more successful your chance is going to be of actually closing it. And the more you come across as a consultant and a capable versus a commoditized throw a price out type provider.
Absolutely.
Yeah, our partners, it's real simple. We've built state-of-the-art demo centers across the country. We've got a rolling one out there that everybody kind of gets a view of. It's very similar than that. All of our partners has access to those demo facilities. And ideally, when they do that, we have all the correct resources in that meeting to make sure that they can either sell our UCaaS platform, our SD-WAN product, or any of our other ITX products that we sell.
Fantastic. Robert.
So in ours, again, we're very involved with those partners, and as long as our most successful ones are bringing us in very early in that needs audit process so that we're able to help define and understand those applications and come up and collaborate together on unique ideas and solutions. And so that's where I think our most successful partners are coming. So,
I appreciate all of you being part of this panel. If I'm a partner sitting out there today, I'm thinking to myself, hey, these complex technologies, I've got tons of resources. I've got pre-sales resources. I've got post-sales resources. I've got training resources. I've got implementation resources. And I think all of you kind of echoed the same thought that the earlier you bring us in, the better, which is a good takeaway message. And also, Telarus, we're very committed to help you as the partner community sell more than what you're selling today. So if you're selling one line of business, maybe you started in the cloud. We'd like you to start selling bandwidth in UC. Maybe you've sold premise-based phone systems for years and now moved a little bit into UC. You've got to add SD-WAN. You've got to add bandwidth. You've got to add some of those other pieces. Maybe you're an old VX partner that we've known, Roger and I have known for half a decade or more, and now we need to get into more of some of these other services. It's the reason why we've created the Triple Crown. The stickier you are, the more of these services, the more of the integrations, the more of the communication platform that you're able to get your hooks into that customer, the less likely they are to go anywhere. They end up being that gift that just keeps on giving, that pays for years and years and years and years. Again, thank you to Shawn, to Roy, to Zane, to Chris, to Robert and Rob, and thank you too for sitting by each other so I only had to remember Rob and Rob, even though I already knew you, both of you. It's been a great panel. Thanks to all of you, and let's give them a big hand.